How's it going, everyone? Welcome in to the Golden Sombrero show. Today is Saturday, March 27th. In just 5 days, we'll have baseball, guys. Real baseball. It's just going to be awesome. I'm Dominic Stern. Alongside me is Ryan Blake and Cole Bradley. Guys, how are you doing this morning?
I'm doing pretty good, man. Good to we're finally here, you know? We're just under a week away and I can't be more excited. I'm gonna tell you that much.
Mm-hmm.
It's been too long to wait. I'm getting really anxious. I'm so excited.
Yeah, no, I mean, this is going to be a fun season. A full season this time. As a matter of fact, instead of a 60-game season that's more random than any other year. So that will be something that is going to be appreciated by baseball fans because it's definitely different. So we're going to start off with our standings predictions. Then later in the show, we're going to give our awards for the season. And then to end it, we'll go talk about the playoffs and how we see that unfolding. Even though it's a long ways away, you can still predict it. I successfully predicted the World Series matchup and winner last year before the start of the season. So it is possible, guys. So we'll start with our NL standings, like I just said. We're going to have to go quick. Don't want to talk about it too much, but NL East. Let's start with the East. Who do we have in fifth place? Let's start with you, Ryan.
I have the Marlins in fifth. They had the opportunity to really make this team something special in the offseason. They just didn't do it.
Yeah, I agree. I got Miami in fifth, and it's crazy because they made the postseason last year, but it kind of just goes to show you how, the expanded playoffs last year helped a lot of people, and including them. I just don't think they make the cut in such a, highly competitive division.
Right. I mean, the division's insane, and they were 31-29 last year. Like, let's say how it was in a 60-game season. They're okay at best, and they had like a negative 50 run differential. I agree. I have them in fifth place, and I don't think it's close. They're definitely the best fifth place team in all baseball, though. All right, fourth place. I mean, in this division, here's where things get interesting. Who do you guys have in fourth?
Back to me?
Sure.
I'm actually going with the Nationals. I love their rotation, and I think they added some big pieces to really boost the lineup. I just think that the guys that they added are maybe a little bit over the hump in their careers and just are inconsistent at the plate. So it wouldn't shock me if they finished in third, but I'm going to put them in fourth for now.
Yeah, I think it's close, and I can really see this going either way between fourth and third. But I'm going to put the Nationals in fourth as well. I don't know. I think the pitching rotation is amazing. But I think as of right now, I think the Phillies, if they stay completely healthy, are a better team. That's just my opinion. That's the way I see it. We'll see how that goes. Again, I think it's going to be close, but I'm a little skeptical about them.
I'm going to stray away from you guys. I'm going to say the Phillies get in fourth place. I just think that this Nationals team is just built much better for a full season. And last year, they caught some fluke injuries. I think that when Strasburg's healthier this year and Soto plays 162, Turner plays 162, and then the additions of Schwarber, Josh Bell, and John Lester will help them finish in front of the Phillies this year. And then I assume that you guys have the Phillies in third place and that I have the Nationals in third place. All right, cool. And then second place, NL East. I have the Mets. You guys have the Mets?
Yep.
And then just in front of them, we obviously have one team left, and that is the Atlanta Braves. I mean, it feels weird saying the Mets team that is, frankly, I think going to be a really good team. It's going to finish in second, but there's multiple divisions where that's going to be the case. And, it's tough for the Mets because they're going to have to play in that wild card game.
Yeah, it's going to be a close race between those two. But when looking at it, I think what the Braves did to boost their rotation this offseason, I think it's really going to help them.
All right. That wraps up the NL East. Let's move over to the Central. I mean, fifth place is pretty easy. It's the Pittsburgh Pirates. They are quite possibly the worst team in baseball. Definitely up in like the top three. I assume you guys have the Pirates there as well. All right, fourth place. I mean, here's where things get interesting. Cole, who do you have for fourth place in the NL Central?
Yeah, we talked about this a little bit before, but based on what I've seen so far, I think this spring as well. Personally, I don't think the Cubs are going to be higher than the third place team. I don't have a whole lot of faith in them. That pitching staff is pretty garbage, to say the least. I think that they have some strong individual guys, obviously, on the team, but a lot of these guys already know they're sort of their careers as Cubs are coming to an end. I'm talking Baez. I'm talking Chris Bryant. I'm talking Anthony Rizzo. All these guys are sort of in their contract year, and they might go and they might absolutely rake. But the problem is the pitching's probably not going to really be there to back it up. So I just really don't have a whole lot of faith in them right now for where it stands. And I think we talked about it before, but I have a lot more faith in the Reds than I do them as far as pitching is concerned.
I'm putting the Reds in fourth. I don't like the Reds at all this year. They needed to add a contact bat, and they didn't. Their best contact bat and Freddie Galvis from last year is gone. And they just had a horrible offseason, to be quite frank. They let a couple key guys go. Their bullpen isn't going to be great. And they've got all the power in the world, but it's extremely consistent. They don't have that contact bat to balance it. Plus, losing Bauer, not really making an attempt at all to try to find a couple pieces to replace him hurts. So I'm going to put them in fourth.
Yeah, I actually agree with Ryan here. I'm going to put the Reds in fourth place. I just kind of trust some of the Cubs hitters like Chris Bryant, Anthony Rizzo, and Javi Baez to bounce back more than some of the Reds hitters. Like those guys on the Cubs have done it more in the past than, say, Castellanos or Suarez. Votto would be an example against that, but Votto is also like 38. So I think that both these two teams are going to struggle, be around 75 wins this year, and it's going to get ugly. And so then I assume, Cole, you have the Reds in third, and then Ryan, you and I both have the Cubs in third, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. And then for second place in the NL Central, Ryan, who do you have?
I have the Brewers in second. I think they kind of had an underrated offseason. I really like the additions of Colton Wong and Jackie Bradley Jr. Their outfield's going to be really good. I think they got a solid piece up the middle. Their pitching's a little bit suspect, especially in the starting rotation, but they got Woodruff, and that bullpen's pretty much set when you've got Josh Hader and Devin Williams.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think you can say it really any better. I think their bullpen is one of, if not the best in baseball. I think they got, obviously, a really good defensive outfield. And I think, especially after last year, I think guys like Yelich are really going to bounce back. They're primed for a bounce back year because obviously, as an MVP caliber player, you don't just hit 205 one season and then come back and do the exact same thing. That you get better. That's normally how that works. So I expect those guys to sort of bounce back, and I expect them to have a pretty solid year. But we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, Yelich has been raking in spring training, and I agree. Brewers in second place. Guy, none of you guys mentioned Corbin Burns, finished in sixth place in the NL Cy Award race last year. He's a stud. He's finally figured it out. He's always had the stuff, but he never really get it done in 2018 and 2019. 2020, he really figured it out. He's going to be a big part of the rotation this year that they're going to need to carry them because, I think we can all agree the pitching on the Brewers is definitely better than the hitting. So, yeah, Brewers in second place. It'll be interesting to see where they end up because they could finish with 80 wins, but they could also finish with like 85, 86, 87 wins. So, wherever they end up in that echelon. And then, of course, that leaves us with the Cardinals to win the division. The addition of Nolan Arenado certainly bolsters that chance after they fleeced the poverty franchise that is the Colorado Rockies. And I don't see a way where the Cardinals don't win the division. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I agree. I think I really don't even think it's close because this is such a weak division. And I think that, one trade really made all the difference. And we always know how consistent the Cardinals are every single season. They just find ways to win. And they always have these solid pieces that make up their foundation. I mean, just outside of him, I mean, they have, so many solid guys. They were able to bring Yachty back, Wainwright's back. Those are small pieces that are going to help them, and adding that bigger piece to that bigger picture. I mean, it makes a world of difference, um, especially in a division as weak as the Central. So yeah,
Yeah, I think that they're going to easily win this division. They now have the best corner duo in baseball, and they've got back Yachty. I think Jack Flaherty's going to have a good year. I think that a big piece for them that I liked was that they got rid of Dexter Fowler's contract. So I like the Cardinals this year. I think they're going to be a team that's not going to be easy to put away.
All right, that is our NL Central standings. Let's move out to the West, the NL West, and I just talked about them. The poverty franchise, this is the Colorado Rockies. Do we all have them finishing in 5th place?
Yep.
Easily.
Yeah, I agree. They're going to suck. If Trevor Story is on the Rockies come August 1st, something is tremendously wrong with this organization, or they just exceeded our expectations. But
which wouldn't be surprising. So I'm just going to say, don't be surprised if that's the case.
Right. Yes. Cole is referring to the fact that they could hold on to him and not surprise us and be in contention part.
Right.
Yes. All right. 4th place. Cole, is it your D-backs, or have you convinced yourself that they'll be better than the Giants?
I still think they're a 4th place team, but I think it's close, and I think they'll definitely challenge for 3rd. But I think where it stands right now, the Giants are just such a more solid team. And they proved that last season. I mean, they were literally 1 win away from making the postseason. Arizona was pretty much out for a good chunk of it. So I think just the way I see it is just, Arizona is in a rebuild phase or in a transition phase, and it's going to be at least a few seasons until I think you can really consider them as a top 3 team in that division. But right now, I think they're just outside of that.
Yeah, I agree. I have the Diamondbacks in 4th. I like what they did by getting some veteran presence on the team this offseason. I think they don't have enough. I think that Ketel Marte is going to have a good year. They're going to have guys that are going to be there and have solid years. I also think that the injury to the milkman, Zach Allen, just doesn't help. And I just think that their pitching, especially in the bullpen's just a little bit weaker.
Yeah, I think the bullpen's going to be a big problem for the Diamondbacks. I mean, I feel like that's their weakness. Starting rotation is solid, and the lineup is solid, but everything else outside of that, I mean, I think they're a 75-win team. And then you're going to have the Giants finish slightly above them, right around 500. I think you guys can agree with me on that point.
Yeah, 100%.
All right, Ryan's in agreement there as well. And then for 2nd place in the NL West, who do you guys have? It's either the Dodgers or Padres.
I've got San Diego, obviously, I think, and it's just kind of a shame because they're arguably the 2nd best team in baseball, and they're going to be 2nd place in their division. That just kind of proves how solid and deep the Dodgers are. But as far as just them, I mean, I don't think there's any pitching staff in baseball that's better right now, especially given the way those guys have performed this spring. And it's crazy because they've acquired over half of it just this past offseason. As if they weren't good enough last year, they're definitely going to be good this year. And that's going to be something to really watch. So, and there's going to be some good games against the Dodgers this year between those two. So they're a team to watch out for. And even if they just make a wild card, I would not be surprised if you find them in like a NLCS against LA or another team. This team's going to go far. So.
Yeah, San Diego. I just think that looking at them, they've got the rotation. Bullpen's a little bit weaker. They lost Rosenthal, but replaced him with Melanson. I think a big key for the Padres this year is to see what Tommy Pham does. I think they need him to step up and be productive throughout the season. And also, this is a team that has a lineup that is going to be terrific. They have a terrific piece of the lineup that plays on the left side of the infield that's going to do wonders for them. So I think this Padres team is set to make a run regardless. The fact that they're going to have to probably play in the wild card with how good they are is insane.
Yeah. No, I'm just kidding. I have the Padres in second place. When you look at them stacked up against the Dodgers, I think the Dodgers have a better lineup. And then the rotation and bullpen, they're very, very close. They are. I truly believe these two teams are pretty much just as good as each other. And obviously, I should say the Padres are just as good as the Dodgers because, of course, the Dodgers have been better than the Padres for the last decade, and they just won the World Series. So, ring pop ring, but still a World Series ring. And then Dodgers in first, of course. We are unanimous on that. Okay, that is our NL standings. We're not going to move over to the American League. We'll come back and we'll talk about our NL playoff picture in whenever we wrap up these conversations. American League, let's start out with the East again. Who do we have in fifth place in this division?
Orioles. I just think that this is a team that's just not going to be there for a couple of years. They've got some talented pieces, but they just got to continue to develop their younger guys. So I think it's just going to take a few more years. But, yeah, I think they're going to be in fifth.
Yeah, Baltimore is pretty much, sort of in a similar situation, in my opinion, that the Marlins were in last year. They're definitely one of, if not the best, fifth place team in baseball, at least the way I see it. I think they're going to be solid, and I think you're going to see a lot of growth from Anthony Santander and Ryan Mountcastle. You might even see Adley Rutschman come up this year because he's that freaking good. But they're sort of in a weird spot because they're still developing all these guys, and it's going to be a few years before they're really competitive. So definitely, if you're a fan, just be watching out for those guys, but don't expect anything massive.
Yeah, I got the Orioles here in fifth place. Like I said, I think that they'll be a better team in the future. Yes, Mountcastle, he's on my fantasy team. Hoping for a big year from him. Or not hoping, expecting a big year from him. He's a great hitter. And then Adley Rutschman, Anthony Santander. They have some guys. It's the pitching staff is bad. It's really bad. So fifth place, I feel like that was pretty easy and obvious choice. All right. Fourth place. I feel like 2 through 4, you could really go either way. I think we all see the Red Sox as the fourth place team, but they're getting some hype as not a fourth place team. Cole, do you think they're a fourth place team?
I do, and I think it's going to be close, and I definitely could see them as a third place team. But you have to remember they have a lot of guys coming off of injury. They have a lot of that bullpen is still a huge question mark. They could not pitch to save their life last year, and that's a problem. And obviously they're still in that transition phase without Mookie Betts, but it's encouraging when you have Bobby Dalbec, who I'm pretty sure maybe doesn't lead the Grapefruit League. I'm pretty sure he leads the Grapefruit League in home runs.
He does. Yeah.
And it's really not even close. He's just hitting bombs. When you have a guy like that, when you still have, Xander Bogaerts and JD Martinez and Alex Verdugo, that definitely helps. But there's still, I think, the pitching is still such a huge question mark. And I still think they're, more than a few pieces away from even really being considered a contender in this division. So I still think they have some work to do. I could see them being a third place team, but it's going to take a lot for them to do so.
Ryan?
Yeah, I'm going to put the Red Sox in fourth, and I think it's just there's so much uncertainty with the starting rotation with Eduardo Rodriguez and Chris Sale coming off of injury. So I think there's a lot of uncertainty there. JD Martinez did not have that great of a year last year. Need more from him. And I just think that the way that they went about this offseason really hurt them, trading away Benintendi and then also not making an aggressive push to bring back Jackie Bradley Jr. So I'm going to put them in fourth, but it would not shock me completely if they made it and got third place.
All right. I agree. The concerns lie with the pitching staff because their lineup is really good. Xander Bogaerts, JD Martinez, Rafael Devers, Alex Verdugo, Christian Vasquez. Very good lineup. But then you look at the pitching staff and you're like, all right, Eduardo Rodriguez didn't pitch at all last year. Martin Perez, it's okay. Then outside that, you're like, ugh, this is ugly. The bullpen's even worse because they were bad last year, and then they traded away their two best bullpen pieces to Philadelphia. Well, they're even worse, and it's like, man, I just don't know where they get anything out of that bullpen. It's going to be ugly, and yeah, so I have them in fourth place, but they could certainly, if their pitching staff is healthy and overperforms, this is all of a sudden a team that could, I think, has the best chance to like exceed mine and our expectations by a mile. I think we could all agree on that. And having Alex Cora back, we'll really see how much that affects things. And they're not playing with that cloud over them of the cheating scandal. So Boston Red Sox in fourth place. All right, third place. It's probably either going to be the Blue Jays or the Rays. Who do you guys have in third? We'll start with you, Ryan.
I'm going with the Rays. I just think that the loss they had to their pitching staff and Charlie Wharton and Blake Snell are really going to hit them hard. Plus, the Blue Jays had a great offseason. They made some big acquisitions by going out and adding Marcus Semien and George Springer. And then there's the Rays who just really sat back and didn't do a lot. And they got worse. So I'm going to take the Blue Jays to get second, and I'm going to have to put the Rays in third.
Colt.
Yeah, I agree. The problem with the Blue Jays is that they have a few guys who are sort of looming question marks for opening day. And that's a little concerning. They're going to get those guys back healthy at some point, and obviously it is only the beginning of the year, but I do see them right now edging out Tampa, and like Ryan said, I mean, Tampa just got worse. I mean, there's no way around it. They're still very solid, and I still think they're going to find a way to win at least 80 games, but I just don't really see them as I see them as pretty middle of the road. That kind of stinks, especially after last year when, they had this Cinderella World Series run, if you will, even though it wasn't. They were the best team in the American League. And it's just kind of crazy. But, yeah, I don't expect, too much out of them, but it'll be interesting to see how the Blue Jays sort of bounce back from this injury thing.
Yeah, so the stuff that Cole briefly mentioned was that Kirby Yates, who they signed this offseason, turns out that he had a torn UCL, and he just underwent Tommy John surgery. George Springer has a grade 2 oblique strain. Robbie Ray slipped and fell on the stairs and bruised his elbow. And then Nate Pearson and Thomas Hatch, two of the pitchers who are expected to be a big part of the rotations, are not ready yet. And when I heard that news, I mean, because we've had shows where we've gone more in depth breaking down the standings, I had the Blue Jays in second, finishing over the Rays. But you guys know how big of a believer I am in the Rays and how much I trust that pitching staff and the coaching staff to get this team to perform to their best. So I'm just going to flip-flop it, and I think that the Blue Jays will finish in third. These injuries, although some of them may not be too impactful at the beginning of the season, it could tread on later on in the year, and it might be too big of a gap for them to close because I still think the Rays are good. They're definitely not as good as they were last year. So I just revealed my second place team as the Tampa Bay Rays. I assume you guys have the Blue Jays in second?
Yeah.
All right, Ryan's in agreement there. And then the Yankees, they're going to finish in first place. I mean, that lineup is just disgusting. And then it was just announced as of 10 minutes ago that Jay Bruce is actually going to make their opening day roster. So this adds another left-handed power bat.
Yeah, one thing to add about that, though, is that Luke Voit has a torn meniscus right now, and he's going to miss some time, so that's actually pretty huge for them. But I agree. I think this lineup's crazy good. And I do think, they have some solid pieces in that rotation now. The problem is that both Jameson Taillon and Corey Kluber are coming off of injury. So it's a bit of a question as to how that's going to fare, because outside of that, the pitching rotation is pretty suspect. And then obviously the bullpen, I think, is solid. It's not as good as it was last year, but it's definitely still solid. So, but yeah, I think the Yankees are by and large definitely the best team in the East.
Yeah, looking at the Yankees, this lineup, if they can stay healthy, they're going to make a run. They're going to win that division. easily if they could stay healthy. That's always been the key with the Yankees. Judge's got to stay healthy. Stan's got to stay healthy. Glaber, LeMahieu, all those guys got to be healthy. But you got to look at that rotation. 3 of their guys are coming off of injury. Luis Severino, Kluber, and Taillon. If they pitch well, this rotation could be one of the better, could be a top 5 rotation in baseball. Is it going to be the caliber of the Mets, the Padres, the Dodgers? No, it's not. But it can be up there and be a very good rotation. But there's a lot of question marks because these guys are coming off of injuries. But I think the lineup has been able to and still will be able to put up the amount of runs and be so dominant offensively to where they can make up for struggles on the mound.
Yeah, I mean, the Yankees are the best team. Like I said, that lineup is disgusting. Corey Kluber's been bad this spring training. I don't expect it to get much better. I've been very vocal about their pitching staff being very overrated, but with that being said, it's better than the Blue Jays pitching staff, and their lineup is way too good. So, yeah, I have them winning this division. All right, let's move over to the AL Central. 5th place, Detroit Tigers. I think they're a team that's going to be a lot better in the near future, but for right now, they're a 5th place team in this division.
Yeah, for sure. I like what they did this offseason. They got better. They had guys like Robbie Grossman, Jose Urena. Like, they got themselves better, but they're just still not there. They have a lot of talent that's waiting to come up, whether it is Casey Mize and all those guys. And then, of course, they've got Spencer Torkelson, who went to ASU. So that farm system's really good. It's just going to take a couple of years. That's all it really is.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, they got AJ Hinch, and say what you will about the guy. I think he's still a very good manager. They got him as sort of their leader now, and I think he's going to sort of make a world of difference for their organization. He is very high on prospects, and he's someone who believes in calling up young talent. And like you guys said, the Tigers really have no shortage of that. I mean, Riley Green, Spencer Torkelson, Matt Manning, Casey Mize, Tyreek Skubal. I mean, all these guys are really, really good, and they're going to be really, really good as we go on. I mean, especially those 3 arms. I think, in 5 years from now, we might be talking about the Tigers as having one of the top rotations in all of baseball. That's how good they are. So definitely a team to keep an eye out for. But like you said, they're definitely not going to challenge any team right now. So 5th place.
Yeah, don't forget about Daz Cameron, Mike Cameron's son. They, like I said, there's a lot of talent in this farm system, and in 2 to 3 years, I think they'll be a very good team. All right, 4th place. I have the Royals. I'm pretty sure Ryan doesn't. Cole, who do you have?
I also have Kansas City. I don't have anything against them, but I still think they need to give it a couple years, because they're another team that has a couple guys in their farm system who need to grow a little bit and then be called up. I'm looking at Bobby Witt as possibly getting called up this year and seeing what he does. I think if he started the year on the opening day roster, which I don't think is going to happen, then he's arguably probably like a by and large rookie of the year candidate if that's the case, but obviously it's not going to happen. Yeah, I think this team's got a lot of potential. I just think they need to nurture it for the next couple of years, and then you could be talking about a team that is arguably pushing for first in the division, but we'll see.
Ryan?
I have Cleveland in 4th. The pitching rotation's there, but the bullpen got worse losing Hand, and the lineup just got a lot worse. They lost Frankie Lindor. They still have Ramirez, which is going to be fine, but other than that, the lineup's just a little bit weak. Roberto Perez is not a good hitter. He's known for his fielding, and I just think that offensively they're not going to be a very strong team. Pitching-wise, they'll still be good despite losing Cookie Carrasco in the rotation.
Yeah, I mean, I think these 2 teams are not going to finish above 500 this year, but I've talked about it before. I trust the Indians lineup more than I trust the Royals pitching staff, because I think that the Indians pitching staff is very good, and I think the Royals lineup is very good as well. I think it's one of the more underrated lineups in the league, but when you look at it, I just trust the Indians a little bit more. So there's my third place team. Cole, you have the Indians there in third as well.
Yeah, and I think you guys kind of nailed it on the head. I think that the pitching staff's there for Cleveland, and I still think that even though they lost Lindor, I think that lineup's still pretty solid. I mean, they've got, I forget his name, the guy from the Padres, Franmil Reyes. They've got Jose Ramirez, who obviously could have won MVP last year. They have a pretty solid lineup, and I still think that they can at least compete this year. They added Eddie Rosario, and given he's not a huge on-base guy, he's a big power guy, but that's still a pretty imposing bat in the middle of their lineup. So I like that move for them. But, yeah, I mean, I still think I have a lot of faith in Cleveland to still be at least a little bit successful. And even though their bullpen did get worse, I mean, they still have guys like James Karinchak at the back end of the bullpen who are going to be really good this year. So, I still think they're very solid.
Okay. Yes, I have the Royals in third. I have to look at the lineup because you got Whit Merrifield, you got Benintendi, you got Perez, Dozier, Soler, Santana, who I'm very excited about. The Royals are going to hit a lot of home runs this year. And it's going to be different because the way the Royals won the World Series was small ball. And they're going to hit a lot of home runs, which is going to be nice to see. But what I have to look at from the Indians is that the Royals lineup is better. Indians have the better rotation. I think the bullpens are similar in a sense. I think that the back end for the Royals is pretty solid with Stalmont, Barlow, and Holland. That's fine back end that I'm happy with. Starting rotation is a little iffy. I'm expecting a couple guys to be called up at some point. Don't know when, but it would not shock me if Asa Lacy is given a shot at some point. I think Bobby Witt is going to be called up throughout the season and I think he's going to take over at second base. Love Nicky Lopez defensively. Offensively, he can't find it. He's not a good hitter, and I just think Bobby Witt tore it up, and I actually agree with the decision to put him in the minors to start. He's only played rookie ball. He needs a little bit more professional baseball before they can move him up. So I'm fine with that decision, but I think he's going to get called up at some point. So I'm going to have the Royals in third.
Right. I mean, Bobby Witt has 164 professional at-bats. Like, it was frankly an easy decision to put him down in the minor leagues. And if he plays well and pushes his way up, because I assume he's going to start in single A, maybe double A, and he pushes his way up, absolutely. But he needs to be tearing the ball apart to get pushed up because he's only 20.
Yeah. And people are saying the Royals are just manipulating his service time. No, it's just experience. No. He's only played 37 professional baseball games. They need to see more.
Yeah, those people are idiots. No, I mean, also doing this, you are helping out your service time, but it's also right.
But that's not the reason for putting him in the minors to start the season.
Yeah. Shout out to the Cubs, a-holes, for Nico Horner manipulating his service time. All right. And then the top two teams, the AL Central, I feel like it's pretty clear, kind of dry. These two teams are the top. Things were shaking up, though, when Eli Jimenez, he's going to be out for the majority of the regular season after he tried to rob a home run in a spring training game. Ouch. I still have the Twins in second and the White Sox in first, though. Do you guys still hold that sentiment?
I do, but I think losing Eloy is really going to make a difference, I think, for the White Sox. I mean, he's not the best guy defensively. I mean, he pretty much showed that when he tried to, rob a home run, and he subsequently hurt himself for the entire year. But I still think the White Sox, after everything that they did this past offseason, are arguably the second best team in the American League. So I think that, there's going to be a lot of growth there, and I still think that they're the best team in that division.
Yeah, I'm going to stay with the White Sox. I just think that the Twins lineup did not really make any additions that are notable. Maybe besides Andrelton Simmons, but he's stronger in the field than he is at the plate. They added Coleman to the bullpen, which I really liked. And I just think that for the Twins, they are going to be a team that's going to be in the wild card. They're set to be a wild card team. The White Sox are set to win that division. They've got the pitching by trading for Lance Lynn. They got their third guy there. They got Tim Anderson, the reigning AL MVP, and Jose Abreu. They've got Luis Robert. They've got just so much talent. And then don't forget about Andrew Vaughn, who might be playing left field to replace Eloy until he's healthy, which I don't like, but
No, I hate.
I hate that. I don't think it's a good idea at all. But they have so much talent that I think it's their division to lose, and I think that the White Sox are going to take it. It's going to be close with the injuries, but I'm still going to take the White Sox.
Yeah, it was funny when La Russa said, at worst, I think he's going to be an above-average defender in left. And I'm like, what? Yeah. No, I'm not a big fan of it. But get your best bats in the lineup, and then it doesn't matter. All right, AL West. I mean, Rangers in last place. This is pretty easy. They're probably the worst team in the AL.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Okay. All right, fourth place. Do we all have the Mariners?
Yes.
Yeah, I think very bright future. I think this is another team kind of like the Red Sox where if they exceed my expectations by a long shot, I won't be too surprised. Like they're one of those teams. It's because a lot of young talent. Kelnick, not on the opening day roster. Service time manipulation, who knows? He's also still very young, but he probably should have been up there. But yeah, Mariners in fourth place. And then very clear top three. Who do we have in third here, guys?
I have the Athletics. And the reason is they lost too many pieces. I would feel better if they would have re-signed Tommy La Stella. They got Elvis Andrews to replace Marcus Semien, which was big. They needed to make a trade and to either sign someone to replace Semien. They lost Hendricks, but they made additions to the bullpen by getting Sergio Romo and Trevor Rosenthal. And they still got a terrific corner duo. I just think that it's going to be a down year for them because of the struggles that they had with retaining players.
Yeah, I sort of rethought my whole AL West pitch a little bit. I actually work with someone who's an Angels fan, and they sort of swayed me in a different direction with the way I'm picking this division. So I actually, too, agree. I think the A's are going to be a third-place team, but I do see them as also a second-place team if they can play well enough, because I think the Astros are a pretty weak team as well. I pretty much just spoiled my top three, but whatever. To be completely honest, I just think the A's they're just not. I mean, they're way worse than they were last year. Especially even losing a guy like Hendricks alone. I mean, he's the best reliever in baseball. You're just going to get worse. And Rosenthal is a pretty formidable replacement, but I mean, he's no Liam Hendricks, and it is only a 1-year contract. So we'll see how this kind of goes for them. I think they'll still be solid, but I still think there's a lot of question marks as far as how things go for an entire season. And I mean, Jesus Luzardo has struggled kind of this spring. We'll see how Sean Manaea sort of turns out, but there's been sort of a lot of looming question marks with them, and I don't really see them as a top tier team in that division anymore. But they're the A's, and they surprise a lot of people almost every single year. So I can still see them being at least a second place team.
Yeah, with the A's, it's just they've had health issues. AJ Puck, Manaea has had times when he's not healthy. Same with Luzardo, same with Frankie Montas. So they got to make sure that their pitching gets healthy too.
Yeah, I agree. I have the A's in third, and it's weird because I think they could easily win 85 games this year. But I think the top three in this division, they're all in between like that 80 to 90 win range, and I just have no idea where they're going to finish. And I'm going to side with caution here for the A's, and I'm going to put them in third. And second, I have the Houston Astros. I think that the injury to Framber Valdez, I had them winning the division, but he was going to be their ace going into this year. I think with how he performed last year and in the postseason, seems like he's going to miss the majority of the year, if not the entire year, and that's huge for them. And all of a sudden now the rotation is Greinke at the top, who wasn't very good in the second half of last year, and then a bunch of other guys. I mean, McCullers got an extension. Urquidy's supposed to be good.
They also added Odorizzi too. We have to remember that.
Right. I mean, he's solid, but he's nothing special.
Their rotation will be just fine.
Yeah. I have the Astros in second.
Oh, me? Yeah, I have the Astros in second as well. I think that they had a tough offseason losing Springer. It was key that they retained Michael Brantley. If they lost Brantley, they were in some deep trouble. Looks like they are set to also lose Correa because they are far apart on money. But I don't think Altuve's going to figure it out hitting wise because he struggled. And Bregman also had a down year. So I'm going to take the Astros in second.
Yeah,
Cole,
I
you have
agree.
the Astros?
Yeah, I agree. And again, I think I see the A's as actually still surpassing them as a second place team, but I think just as of right now, I think the Astros are just a little bit more solid. Even without Framber Valdez, I still think the pitching is mediocre. I think it's gonna do just fine. It's not gonna be great by any means, but I think it'll do just enough, and we'll see how it goes for them. But yeah, second place.
All right. So we all have the Angels winning the division. I remember when we did our preview a couple of weeks ago, I was the only person who picked the Angels to win the division. Seems like I've swayed you guys. No, I'm just kidding. Cole said someone else swayed him. But yeah, Cole, what changed your mind on the Angels?
I think really just what it is, and I could still see this really imploding on them. I think they're definitely not a lock as a first place team. A lot of the teams that we've already talked about as first place teams were like, oh, that team, I see them as like a lock as winning, as being first in division. I most certainly do not see the Angels that way. I still think they're going to need to fulfill a lot, but I think that pitching staff, while it's not great, it's solid. And we say this almost every spring, it feels like, but Shohei Ohtani looked amazing this spring on the mound, at the plate, everything. And if he can do that for even half as many starts as any other guy, I think that's going to make a world of difference for the Angels if he can stay healthy. Again, this is a huge thing because we all know how the past few years have gone. But I think him alone is really going to make a difference at the top end of the rotation. I think as I see it today, I see him as sort of their ace a little bit. He definitely was their best pitcher in camp. And that alone is pretty great. Their bullpen, while it's still not the best, they do have Rafael Iglesias. That I think was a big addition for them. They're gonna still be solid. And Alex Cobb is in the rotation now. He's been a solid veteran arm. Jose Quintana, sort of the same exact story. Those guys aren't going to absolutely go out and shove every single start. They're going to have a struggle here and there, but they're still going to be very solid. And the lineup in the offense has been there. It's been there for years, even before Rendon got there. With Trout, obviously there, Justin Upton, we can go on for days. Jared Walsh is going to be super good this year. This seems really, really solid. I just think the pitching, you're going to see it early on because if early signs say, they're still blowing leads and things are still, unraveling for them, in the late innings, then this is the same Angels team we've been talking about for the past couple of years. But as it stands right now, I see them as the best team in that division.
Ryan, Angels, talk about it.
Yeah, I was thinking about this a lot. And looking at the Angels, I think that with Shohei Ohtani, his performance, we say it every spring, but this was his best spring. He was terrific on the mound. At the plate, he's been playing like the expectations that he's had. And I think he's going to be a catalyst for the team. Rendon and Trout is terrific. They did lose Andrelton Simmons, which might hurt them a little bit in the field, but still got David Fletcher, who is solid in the field and great at the plate. Got Pujols in his final year. I think that also the additions with their pitching by getting Rafael Iglesias, adding Quintana, Alex Cobb. I think those are additions that people don't look at. I think they're under the radar, but I think that helps a pitching staff that has struggled a lot the past few years. So I actually think that this Angels team is the best that we've seen in a pretty much a long time, probably since 2014 when they lost to the Royals in the playoffs.
I think this Angels team is better than the 2014 Angels. They just don't have that legit ace that Garrett Richards was back then.
Yeah,
That was his only healthy year. This team has a much better lineup. I mean, you're talking about Anthony Rendon, one of the better hitters in baseball there.
I think they're better, but this is the best team we have seen since then.
Oh, 100%.
I think this lineup is better. I think this team has the potential to really pretty much smack that team out of the park.
Yeah, and I think they've got some young guys that coming up. I mean, Cole mentioned Jared Walsh, Joe Adell, Brandon Marsh. They've got guys that aren't on the team that not a lot of people are talking about. They could really bolster this lineup. And Pujols is hurt, supposedly. And, you never want to say, an injury could help a team. But, this could help the Angels. Because, they're not obligated to play him. And, you never want to say that. But, I mean, it's honestly the truth. So,
and just another thing to add about that, I mean, also, I sort of think this also embodies the Angels because, they lost Andrelton Simmons this offseason. And, I mean, some people might say that they got worse defensively. And I would argue they almost got better because, I mean, look at the way that Jose Iglesias has been playing the field this spring. I mean, he looks he's a stud. And he makes plays like he rolls out of bed in the morning. He just does it on the regular. It's crazy, but I think this team is just still very solid, and they definitely got a little bit better than they were last year. And I think that alone, where it stands right now, makes them a first-place team. But again, I seriously don't see them as a lock. I think this arguably could implode on them very early, so you'll see it early on.
All right, so that's going to wrap up our standings. Like I mentioned, we'll come around and we'll talk about the playoffs. But for now, we're going to give our awards predictions for this upcoming season. We're going to start with Rookie of the Year. Then we're going to go to Cy Young. Then we're going to go to MVP. Just those three. Let's start with NL Rookie of the Year. Cole, who's your National League Rookie of the Year?
This is interesting for me because there's a lot of guys who were called up last year who are still going to be considered rookies because of how good they were last year. But even though, they didn't really fulfill the requirement to be qualified as, a rookie or, they aren't technically, you know what I mean? Anyway, I think with that being said, there's actually a few guys who are definitely, I think, in the running for this. We've talked about Ke'Bryan Hayes, and as much as I want to pick him, there is one guy I think who stands out above the rest, and that's Ian Anderson. We all saw how he performed last year in the playoffs. I really like this kid, and he's come out this spring training as well, and he's absolutely shoved, and he looks really, really good. And I think for a Braves rotation that got a lot better this offseason, it's funny how a year ago we were saying that was definitely the question mark of their team. Now they've added Charlie Morton, they've added Drew Smyly, Mike Soroka's coming back. They've got him in the rotation now. This is a very solid team now as far as the rotation is concerned. And I think Ian Anderson is arguably one of the top starters in that rotation. I think he's definitely going to continue to perform well this year, and he's going to be a solid arm for them. And I think that's going to really make a difference. He's going to make a huge difference for them down the road, and the reason why they end up winning that division. So I have him winning Rookie of the Year.
For me, it was between Ke'Bryan Hayes and Ian Anderson, and I'm going to go with Ke'Bryan Hayes because if you look at what he did last year in 95 at-bats, he had 376, and he's got a good glove. I think that the reason that he might not win is because of the team he's on, and he'll be overshadowed by how bad the Pirates are. But I really like Ke'Bryan Hayes. Great approach at the plate, great bat, and then he's also solid defensively. But it would not shock me if Ian Anderson got it. It's kind of like a 1A, 1B type situation with me for who I would pick in that category.
Yeah, so we're actually going to have triple representation here for the NL Rookie of the Year race. You guys gave the two favorites, and I'm going to go with who I think is the third favorite. It's going to be St. Louis Cardinals outfielder Dylan Carlson. Now, this dude, really poised hitter at the plate. When he came up last year, he kind of got rushed in the major leagues after their COVID issue in August, and he struggled, and he got sent back down. And that's why his stats, when you look at him on the surface, 252 OBP, 200 batting average, 66 OPS plus, you're like, Dom, why are you picking this guy to win Rookie of the Year? Well, not so fast. When he came back up in September, in 42 at-bats, he hit 238, which was better, with a 524 slugging percentage, what comes out for a 114 OPS plus. And then the postseason against the Padres, dude was just a monster. He just could not stop getting on base. Really poised hitter, switch hitter, plays good defensively in the outfield. Now, he's not as good defensively at third base as Ke'Bryan Hayes is, but I think that Carlson in a weaker lineup could show some more promise. And he's going to be on that winning team. He's going to be winning a lot more than Brian Hayes is. Now, is he going to be winning as much as Ian Anderson and Cole's pick? No, but Carlson will be on the field every single day, and I think that Carlson could win NL Rookie of the Year. So we got triple representation there. I think we gave the 3 best choices there. We all picked Gavin Lux last year, and he sucked. So that could have been a pick this year, but we ended up going down that road again. We weren't going to do that. So, yeah, AL Rookie of the Year. I mean, you got the Rosarena option. Is that who you guys are going to go with?
I'm actually going with him, and I think just the postseason alone was a selling point for me. I don't really want to do that, but I mean he was so good in the postseason. I think that he's one of their only real solid bats remaining in that order. He's going to get a lot of at bats, and he's definitely going to have a lot of opportunity to prove himself. I personally see him as the favorite there, but I will also say that I think Ryan Mountcastle, we mentioned him earlier. I think Ryan Mountcastle will also be very good this year, so I wouldn't be surprised if one of you guys pick him as well, but that'll be interesting to see. I just see Randy as the top hitter among rookies in this entire rookie class this year. So
this was tough. I thought about Nate Pearson. He's just not ready to go. Jared Kelenic was another one that I'm thinking about. He's not going to start the season in the majors, but I think he'll get called up. I'm actually going to go with Andrew Vaughn. The bat is there. Don't like him going to left field, but that man can hit the ball very well. I really like Andrew Vaughn. I think he's going to be an everyday player, whether he is in the field or whether he's at DH. I think that he's going to make a difference, and he's going to fill in a big role that's going to be left with the losses of James McCann and Edward Encarnacion in the lineup. So I like Andrew Vaughn to win Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, I'm gonna side with Ryan on this one. I'm gonna take Andrew Vaughn here. I'm less confident in like picking him. He was obviously great at Cal. He's one of their top prospects, but it's a tough pick for sure. But I'm gonna roll the dice with him. We'll see if his defense out in left field hurts him, because like I said, I think it's gonna be rough out there. But I will take Andrew Vaughn to win AL Rookie of the Year. So we only get 2 picks there. Cole's going with Randy Arozarena. He was such a stud in that postseason. He was fun to watch, and then he got arrested for. I'm amazed he's actually playing this year, to be completely honest. But all right, Cy Young Award, NL Cy Young. Who we got? We all missed the boat on this one last year. I mean, Trevor Bauer was a long shot, and he cheated. But anyways, Cole, who you got NL Cy Young?
I think this is another pretty tight race this year, especially with the addition of, Blake Snell coming to the NL now. I think that's really going to make a difference in this race, especially because I think he's really going to do well this year. But aside from that, I think I'm pretty sure – I don't think I went with this pick last year. I went with Jack Flaherty. But and I hate to do this, but I think Walker Buehler is going to win the Cy Young this year. I think he's the best pitcher in that very loaded Dodger rotation. He's just ridiculous. This past postseason, I mean, he was amazing as well. I think that's going to carry over. I don't like doing that. There's probably a slew of other guys I could go with, but I'm going to be completely honest. If there's any guy I like watching on the Dodgers, it's him. He's just absolutely ridiculous. And I would go with DeGrom, but I don't want to do like the whole, easy, pick. I kind of want to mix it up. And, I think Buehler's definitely a safe bet aside from him. But I think this will be a close race. I think there's a lot of really good pitchers in the National League, especially the National League West this year. I honestly would have picked Zach Gallen, but I don't think Zach Gallen's going to even start the year on opening day, which stinks. But yeah, I just think Walker Buehler is ridiculous, and I think he's going to show that once more this year, unfortunately.
Ryan?
I'm sticking with my same picks as last year, and it is Walker Buehler in the NL. I know it's riskier than last year because they added Bauer and to pair with him and Kershaw, but Walker Buehler, I think, is going to be the best pitcher in that rotation this year. He's got the stuff. He's got the talent. Walker Buehler is one of my favorite pitchers in the league. I think that he is going to win the Cy Young this year.
Yeah, no. I mean, if I have any opportunity to not pick a Dodger, I'm not going to pick a Dodger, and I will certainly take that opportunity here in this award race. I'm actually going to go out to the NL Central. Excuse me. I'm going to go with the team who had the Cy Young Award winner last year. Now, I'm actually going to go with Luis Castillo. He impressed down the stretch last year. He's got that high velocity fastball, really good changeup, a decent slider to go along with it, and he's just been getting better as the years have gone on. 2018, it was okay. 31 starts, 4.3 ERA. 2019 was a lot better, 3.4 ERA with 226 strikeouts, 190 innings. And then 2020, 3.21 ERA in 12 starts, 70 innings. He's got 30 starts, 12 starts. He's dependable. I can rely on him to pitch a full season, which I can't rely on Walker Buehler to do that. He's had some injuries in the past, and that is a part of my decision here. I'll go with Walker Buehler. All right, American League Cy Young.
Oh, you just said you'll go with Walker Buehler.
Oh, well, I'll go with Luis Castillo. Sorry. You guys put the Walker Buehler in my brain. I apologize. Luis Castillo will be my NL Cy Young Award winner. All right, AL Cy Young Award winner. Cole, who do you got?
This is a dark horse pick if I've ever seen one, but and he hasn't even pitched over 100 innings at least once in his career. But I really, really like Tyler Glasnow, and I think he's going to win it. And again, this is a dark horse pick, so I mean, just work with me here. I think he's a lot better than his ERA says last year. I mean, yes, it was up over 4, but he's going to be probably the ace of the staff now that Charlie Morton's gone. Blake Snell's gone as well. He's sort of taking over that staff. And I mean, we know how well the Rays have been able to develop pitchers, and he's sort of a prime example of that. He wasn't good in the postseason last year. I really think this guy's going to make the jump. And if you look at what he did in 2019, that's sort of what he can become. 1.78 ERA and 12 starts. Yes, he only pitched 60 innings. And yes, he's definitely going to have to stretch his arm out more. But I think if it's going to go the same way that they did it with Blake Snell back in, I think it was 2018, he's going to be an extremely good piece for them this year, and I think he's definitely going to be in that conversation at bare minimum. He's going to strike guys out. I mean, he struck out 91 and 57 and a third. That's like almost a third of his outs that he's getting, and that's ridiculous. So I think he's going to win it, and that's dark horse again. But I'm going to get bold here, and I don't want to go with the safe bet. And if I'm proved right, then kudos to me. Thank me later. But that's who I'm going with.
Yeah, Glasnow, I'm looking at the odds right now. He actually has the 4th best odds. But, I mean, the 3 guys in front of him are like the clear favorites. So, all right, Ryan.
I'm doing it for the 3rd straight year and going with Garrett Cole. If he does not win it, I am never picking him again. This has got to be the year. Last year, I was stupid of me to pick him because I should have realized that he had to adjust to Yankee Stadium, but he was great in the second half. This year, he's going to have to carry that rotation until you get the guys who are coming off injury fully healthy and back into the swing of things with Severino, Taillon, and Kluber. So he has a big role to fill. Plus, I just think that this is Garrett Cole's year. He got robbed 2 years ago. This is where he actually gets it. If not, I give up. I'm never picking him again if he does not win it. And put that in writing.
All right. I'm actually going to go with Garrett Cole as well. I hate taking the favorite. I predicted this award correctly last year. I had Shane Bieber. But I'm going to go with Garrett Cole. I think that he's primed to finally win it. And I think that with a Yankees team that's going to win their division, I think that he gets it. So if you're listening to us on Blaze Radio, we're going to sign off. If you want to hear our MVP and playoff predictions, you're going to have to go to Ryan Blank's YouTube page to listen to those. Enjoy the rest of your Monday night if you're listening to us on Blaze Radio. And on behalf of Cole Bradley and Ryan Blank, we thank you for tuning in. Okay. All right. Now let's talk about our MVPs. These are, of course, the fun awards. And Cole and I infamously picked Shohei Ohtani to win MVP last year. And that blew up right in our face. But, I have no regrets. They're award predictions. They're tough. And let's see if we can get another crack at it. Cole, who's your AL MVP?
This is going to be really tough because again, this is the Mike Trout award, but obviously, we don't like picking Mike Trout, and deservedly so because again, it's a safe bet. And there's still a lot of really good options out there. I think, and this still might be a little bit of a reach, but I think, again, if he stays healthy, and this is something that's sort of the story every year, but if he stays healthy, he's definitely at least a candidate. I'm going to go with Aaron Judge. I think Aaron Judge is definitely one of the top players in the American League, and I still think that, again, if he stays healthy, he's ridiculous. I saw this, and this is the New York Post. Don't trust the New York Post, kids. I saw a New York Post article saying something about like he's lost power, and he's definitely not the hitter he once was, and they should trade him while they still can. And that's just not true. This guy's an absolute monster, and he adapts as well. I mean, he cuts down on the strikeouts. He's starting to get on base more with walks. He's just a stud, and he goes out there and he rakes. And I think, again, all it's going to come down to is if he stays healthy. So if Aaron Judge, if you're listening, by the off chance that you are, stay healthy, and you're going to get yourself an MVP award.
Ryan?
I'm going to pull you guys. Shohei Ohtani.
All right, here we go. All right.
I have not seen Shohei this strong before in spring training, and he has been so good. I think it's going to translate. Give me Shohei Ohtani for MVP. I will never pick my Trout. I hate picking the favorite, and I just did pick a favorite, and I hate doing it. So I'm going to go with the favorite's teammate, and I'm going to pick Ohtani. Shohei, do not have this blow up in my face, please.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was pretty telling because my 2 MVP picks last year were Juan Soto and Shohei Ohtani. And the first weekend, I knew that both those were doomed because Juan Soto had to sit out due to his false positive COVID-19 test. And Shohei Ohtani's first outing, he allowed, 5 runs and didn't record an out? I was like, okay, there goes that prediction. So, yeah, Ryan, I hope you're ready to be devastated. But if it hits, this is the year for Shohei. He's going to prove why all the hype and expectations have been placed on him. He's going to continue to hit for power. He's going to get on base, and he's going to be solid on the bump. I love this pick, and if it blows up in my face, I'll just experience what you guys did last year. Yeah, it's not fun. All right, my American League MVP pick. I'm going to side with one of you two guys, and I'm going to side with Cole here. We're going to all rise for the Aaron Judge. No. I love Aaron Judge. He is so good.
Please do not say he's a top 5. Please don't say he's top 5.
He's a top 5 player in baseball.
No!
The stats back me up. He's an elite defensive player in right field. He rakes. That's all he does. All he does is rake.
We could rake in Yankee Stadium.
He hits moonshots. These balls, he's never cheated out of a home run. He rakes. And the fact that some people think he's overrated, it's probably because people like me think he's a top 5 player in baseball. But that's because I look at the stats.
That's why I say he's overrated.
And I'm an unbiased baseball fan. And if Aaron Judge wore a White Sox uniform or an Indians uniform and didn't wear the pinstripes of New York, people would view him as a top 5 player in baseball. And people just use their hatred of the Yankees to ignore that to think that he's better.
I don't hate the Yankees. I don't hate the Yankees. I just think he's overrated because he can't stay healthy. And then people like you and the expectations.
Well, the expectations are that he's going to rake and play great defense, which is just what he does. And then he gets hit by a pitch because pitchers throw him inside because that's where his weakness is. He gets hit and then he's sidelined. What do you want him to do? He's so good that he just gets hurt and then the Yankees lineup falls apart. Then when he comes back,
stay healthy and produce, then I will never call him overrated.
Well, I mean, the one season he stayed healthy was his rookie year, and he was second in MVP, and he lost to a guy that was cheating. He's a stud, and I'm going to ride with Aaron Judge here. My other pick would have been J-Ram, but I'm going to use the wild card. If Aaron Judge gets hurt in April, Jose Ramirez is my MVP pick. And I'm just kidding. I can't do that. But
no.
I said I can't do that, Ryan.
And I need a backup.
No, I'm just kidding.
If Aaron Judge gets hurt in April, I'll still say he wins MVP because he's going to have the greatest month ever.
Right. He's a stud, and everyone calls me an idiot now, but I'll be laughing at all of them except for Cole because Cole's with me here on the Aaron Judge hype train. Well, all aboard, all rise.
He's really good.
Can I expect text like I got from you yesterday of Aaron Judge hitting bombs because I said he's overrated?
I'll I'll send you Aaron Judge home run text every day. You can send me a let's see who's a Royal. I mean, like I've been a
Ray Soler.
no, I like Soler. He's a stud. There's no one I hate on the Royals, so I guess that's revoke that. But if you want to send me Royals hitters hitting home runs, that's fine. I don't care.
But you don't have anyone on the Royals. If I would do it, it would be Witt because there was the whole thing with Witt potentially going to the Padres, but he doesn't hit home runs often. He's a contract.
Oh, Whit Merrifield, right? Yeah. I thought there's Whit Merrifield and there's Bobby Witt.
When I say Witt, I mean Merrifield.
Okay, I guess, but yeah.
When I say Bobby Witt, I'm just like Bobby. That's how.
All right.
That's how it'll be.
I'll put a note in the back of my head about that. All right. National League MVP. Here's where things get interesting. None of us predicted Freddie Freeman last year. Cole, who you got?
Yeah, again, this is I want to go with the favorite, and in my opinion, I view Juan Soto as the favorite. So, in turn, I actually don't want to pick the favorite because I just don't want to be that guy. But I am kind of gonna go with another favorite here, at least the way I see it. I'm gonna go with Mookie Betts. I think he missed out last year. I mean, he was definitely really good. And on the topic of right fielders, Aaron Judge is great. He is definitely one of the best right fielders in baseball, but he's not the best. And he's arguably not the best is arguably the best player in baseball. Mookie Betts is ridiculous. And I think, unfortunately, he's a Dodger and, whatever, but he's still so fun to watch. And I think if you're just a baseball fan, you have to appreciate his talent and who he is as a player and all that. I think he's just going to continue to stay hot. I was going to go Christian Yelich because I think he's bound for a huge bounce back. And I do think he is, and I think he's definitely going to get votes. But I seriously think Mookie Betts is just – there's nothing he can't do, and that's just, to me, what defines a valuable player in its purest form is someone who can just literally do it all and who makes an impact every single day, and that's him. So I hope he proves me wrong. Let's just say that.
Give me Nolan Arenado. This is his year. He's going to get out of Colorado, and he's going to rake. You never have to worry about his glove because he's the best defensive player in baseball. And this man has deserved an MVP. He has been robbed because of the Coors effect, which is real.
It's it's real, but it's so overblown. It's incredible.
Oh yeah, it's real, but it's way overblown. So F that. Nolan Arenado is going to rake, and he is going to win the MVP this year. I am so confident. I am betting money on it. All
right, there you go. We do not promote gambling here, but at plus 1,200, you're getting pretty solid odds. And Cole's talking about the favorites. There's really no favorite for this award because Juan Soto and Mookie Betts are plus 750, and then in fifth place is Fernando Tatis Jr. at plus 850. So there's no favorite. There's a group of favorites, and there's a bunch of guys behind them that are really good. In Arenado at plus 1,200. I picked him last year. I'm going to pick him every year until he doesn't win this damn award because he deserves it. He's the best hitter in baseball. Juan Soto will be the National League MVP this year. I said it last year. He had the best season. He only played 50 games because of the COVID positive false test, and then his team just sucked. So he, of course, didn't win it, and Freddie Freeman also had just an absolutely fantastic year. No slouch to Freddie Freeman, but Juan Soto had a better year at the plate, and he's going to do it again. He's the best hitter in baseball, and he's going to prove it, and Juan Soto is going to win the NL MVP. I'm very confident in it, and at plus 750, I think you get great odds on him. All right, so that's our awards prediction. Yeah, what, Ryan?
You guys are going to hate what I just did.
Did you actually put money on Arenado?
Put money on it.
And Ohtani.
All right, okay. Hey,
I don't
hate you. It's not my money.
Yeah, Ohtani is really good odds, though. What is he, like plus 20, plus 2,000? Yeah, I mean, those are insane odds, especially
so 10 to win 250, and then on Arenado, I did 20 to win 240.
You put 20 on Arenado? Holy.
I am
moly.
that confident.
All right. Okay.
This is his year.
I respect it. All right. So now we're going to talk about how we see the playoffs unfolding. So we all had the same division winners in the NL. We had the Padres, the Cardinals, and the Braves. And then in the AL, we all had the Angels, the White Sox, and the Yankees. So we're actually going to give our wildcard teams. At the moment, there are only 2 wildcard teams. When we recorded this last year, there was only 2 wildcard teams. And then, of course, on opening day, when there was only 2 games last year, Major League Baseball came out and announced they were expanding the playoffs. So who knows? They could do it. I'd imagine they don't. Wish there was a DH, but doesn't seem like that's going to happen. So we're going to start off with our 2 wildcard teams from each league. Cole, I'm going to go to you. Who are your 2 wildcard teams?
In the AL or the NL?
AL.
AL. Yeah. It's. I don't know how confident I am in this, but give me Blue Jays and Astros.
All right, Ryan, who are your 2 wildcard teams?
Give me Blue Jays and Twins.
All right, and then I'm gonna side in the middle of you 2 guys. I'm gonna take the Twins in the Astros. I think those 3 teams are clearly the 3 best teams that aren't going to win their division, and we'll see from there. All right, so who do we have winning the American League wildcard game, Cole?
Blue Jays.
All right, Ryan.
Blue Jays.
All right, I'm gonna have them break the curse. They're gonna win this one game. The Twins are going to win the American League wildcard game. They'll get their first playoff win since 2001? That's bonkers, especially considering how many times they've been there. All right, nationally, I feel like these are 2 fairly obvious picks given our division picks. Who do we have winning the NL wildcard game?
San Diego.
And who are they going to beat? Who are they going to beat? I
Mets.
know who it is.
The Mets.
Right. Ryan, who do you have in your game?
It's so tough. Not because of the Padres. It's because of DeGrom. But I'm going to take the Padres to beat them.
Yeah. I'm going to take the Padres to beat the Mets. I would be – I just feel like, and everyone's like, oh, DeGrom. You don't want to face DeGrom in the wildcard game. You don't want to face Darvish or Snell or Lamet. Everyone's all up in arms. And, I get it. DeGrom's the best pitcher in baseball. But, at the same time, the Padres have, 3 top 10 pitchers in baseball last year. So, all right. That's our wild card. So, who do we have the wild card teams facing? So, we all have the Padres winning the wild card game. Do you have them facing the Dodgers or I assume the Braves?
Dodgers.
All right. And do we have the Padres making the upset and beating the Dodgers or no?
No. Sorry. No.
Give them one more year, but no.
You know what? Let's shock the world. Give me the Padres and foe. They're going to, like I said, I think the Padres are just as good as the Dodgers. And, call me biased. I don't care. The Padres are good. The second best team in baseball. And I'll take the Padres with the Dodgers. We'll win it when it matters most, when we're healthy.
I'm sorry, Dom. I just got to go with the Dodgers.
Yeah, no,
it's going to be a very close series. It's going to be.
The Dodgers are really good. What am I going to say? You're an idiot. You, no. That's the safe pick. And then Cardinals, Braves. Who do you have meeting the Padres in the NLCS?
Well, for me, it's the Dodgers. But this is going to be a tough series. This is going to be a tough series. I like both of these teams a lot. And I think it's going to go all 5 games, but I'll go with the Braves.
I'm going to take the Braves as well. I think the improvements that they made in the rotation and then retaining Marcell Ozuna are key. So I'm going to take the Braves in this one. It's going to be a rematch from last year for me, Dodgers-Braves.
Yeah, and this series is actually a rematch from the 2019 NLDS. That was a thriller, and then Game 5 just sucked because the Cardinals scored 10 runs in the first inning. And I agree. I'm going to take the Braves here. I think they're just the all-around better team. I think they're better at every position except for third base and maybe catcher. Darnold's really good, but Molina, Molina is just dependable and it's tough. So, I'll take the Braves there. And then I have Braves, Padres. You guys have Braves, Dodgers. Who do you have representing the National League in the World Series?
I said this last year, and I was one game away from being right, and they proved to me they could do it last year, but they didn't finish. And so I'm going to do it again because I hate the Dodgers, and I don't like them at all. I don't, and I think the Braves can do it, and I think the Braves are going to beat them. I think it's going to go. I think it's going to go at least 6 games. That's how close of a series I would predict it to be. But I think the Braves are going to get to the World Series this year. I seriously think with the improvements they made, now they aren't collectively as good as what the Dodgers did. But the Braves are, I mean, they're just such a good team. There's just really nothing to not like, I feel like, about this team. And I think they're definitely going to have a chip on their shoulder from what happened this past year. So I see them finishing, and I see them going all the way. So,
Ryan?
Dodgers.
No.
And I hate to do it. I hate to do it. It's just this team is so good. We could not think that they could get better, and then they just throw $100 million at Trevor Bauer. It's insane. No offense, Tom. While the Padres give up a ton of prospects to get Darvish and Snell, the Dodgers just throw $100 million at Bauer. Plus, did they lose Jock Peterson and Kike Hernandez? Yes, but those guys were rotational pieces. So I'm really thinking that the Dodgers are going to return. And like Cole said, he picked Betts to win MVP. And if Betts gets hot, there's no stopping the Dodgers. That outfield is so insane. The only way to describe that team is insane and incredible. And I don't know who is going to beat them. I think the Braves easily could. Talk to me next year, and I think the Padres can. But I'm going to go with the Dodgers.
I mean, I can think of a lot of other words to describe the Dodgers, but I will refrain from doing so on air.
We are a clean show. Remember,
Exactly.
FCC will be on our you-know-whats if you start cussing out here.
I said I'd refrain, Ryan. I would not. But we're gonna have a triple representation of this, and I'm going to take the San Diego Padres to win the National League. I mean, hey, Ryan, you're shrugging, but what do you want me to do? Pick against my team when
No. Remember the bet we made? Our friendly wager?
Oh yeah, that Padres win the World Series. I got them at what, 20-1?
What?
I got them at 20-1, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, I'll take that. I'll take that.
No, I thought
it's somewhere saved in my phone.
Yeah. We'll figure it
All
out.
right.
But
it's also been your Instagram caption on like your last 2 posts. So
Well, no, but I have odds with Ryan on the Padres winning.
Oh, okay.
Yes, he does.
All right.
So yes. Well, I mean, like I said that as a joke, like back in October, and then the Padres went out and got Snell and Darvish. I'm like, okay,
Yeah, it's still a joke.
No. All right, we're gonna move over to the American League side. We all have different teams facing off, representing the wild card. I have the Twins, Cole has the Blue Jays, and then Ryan has the Astros. Who do we have him facing as the 1 seed in the American League?
I don't have the Astros.
You go first.
You know the Astros? Who do you have?
In the wild card, I had the Twins and Blue Jays.
Oh, Twins and Blue Jays. And then you had the Blue Jays?
Yeah, Blue Jays winning.
Okay, so you guys both have the Blue Jays winning. Okay,
Yeah.
Well, I'll have the Blue Jays facing the Yankees. Or I'll have the Twins facing the Yankees. And then we all know how Twins-Yankees ends up in the postseason. So Yankees moving on to the ALCS.
I'm going to take the Yankees over the Blue Jays.
Yeah, I'm gonna sort of say the same thing, Yankees over Blue Jays. But as far as the best team in the American League, I could seriously see the White Sox still doing that. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's the matchup. But I think the Yankees are going to be first seed. So Yankees over Blue Jays.
All right, and then White Sox versus Angels for all of us. Who faces the Yankees in the ALCS?
White Sox.
White Sox.
You see, it's really tough to evaluate where the White Sox are going to be because it's like the Cubs in 2016. I mean, except when you're giving your predictions, you just assume that Schwarber was going to be a part of it. How does Eli look when he comes back? If he comes back, I assume that he does, but how's he going to look? Because we all know that when he's healthy, fantastic hitter, and it's tough because I want to pick the Angels. I'm going to pick the Angels here. Let's give Mike Trout a playoff series victory. How about I mean, I'm at least guaranteeing a playoff victory in my mind by predicting this. I assume that they'd take at least one game from the White Sox because that lineup is too good. But I'll take the Angels. Why not? I'll take Mike Trout, Anthony Rendon, and Shohei Ohtani and the boys. They'll get out of the ALDS alive. And then you guys, the Yankees, White Sox.
Did I just hear future MV 2021 AL MVP Shohei Ohtani's name?
Dude, I'd love for that to happen because
Me too.
Because I could say I predict that in 2020, and I'd feel less. Cole and I feel like would feel less like an idiot for picking that if he wins it in 2021. So.
Yeah, definitely.
Now we'd feel less like idiots if Aaron Judge wins the MVP. I mean, I'd be on cloud nine. I'd throw a parade on Twitter if he wins that. Because I'd find
you would go right at me on Twitter. You would go right at me.
I don't think it was you because I don't think you've responded on those tweets. I mean, you've texted me. You've made it very clear that you strongly disagree with my opinion, and I get it. Like, he has health problems. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and say that he doesn't.
But there are top 5 though.
When he's healthy, he is. I don't care. That dude hits nukes and he plays elite defense. Anyways, this isn't about Aaron Judge and Shohei Ohtani. This is about the ALCS, which is Yankees, Angels for me, Yankees, White Sox for you guys. Who represents the American League in the World Series?
This is tough. I don't want to have a Dodgers-Yankees at all.
You don't have to. You had it last year.
I'm taking the White Sox to the World Series.
All right. There you go. Cole, who you got?
Yeah, I'm taking the White Sox, and I think Eloy Jimenez is going to make all the difference. Him coming back is going to be huge for them, especially at the right time in the postseason. So, I think they're gonna win in 5 games. I think the pitching is gonna crumble for the Yankees in a series like that because they're just so overmatched. And I mean, as far as a lineup is concerned, I mean, I think the only team that's even comparable to the Yankees is the White Sox. So I mean
that, and if they can get into the Yankees bullpen, that's not very strong. Yeah. They're in a very good situation.
Yeah. So I think that's really gonna happen like early on, and I think the Yankees will get like 1 win at best in a series like that. So.
Yeah, they're not built for the playoffs, but I don't think like any of these teams are. I mean, the White Sox certainly are. But I just don't know about Eloy. Like, that's such a like big thing for me. And like some of their hitters are like have really weird analytics. So I don't know. I'm gonna take the dark side. None of you guys took the dark side, but I mean, you guys took the White Sox. They're very good. I'm gonna take the Yankees. So I have Yankees, Padres. Ryan has White Sox, Dodgers, and then Cole has White Sox, Dodgers. Ryan, break down your World Series. Let's hear it.
Dodgers repeat as champions.
No!
And now people cannot say that they don't have a real World Series.
They have a real World Series. Those
people
I hate
that argument so much.
No, they have. Well, it's a Mickey Mouse World Series ring.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously like less legit than a 162 game World Series, but they have the ring.
It's not going to matter because they're going to win a 162 game World Series this year.
I mean, I disagree, but they have the ring. They have the pennant will be flying at Dodger Stadium come next week. Like, the people need to shut up about it. Like, I get it. It's fun. It's really fun to say. Let's say Dodgers won a Mickey Mouse World Series ring. I call it a ring pop because, like, people called it a Mickey Mouse ring for the Lakers because it was won at Disney. Like, that made sense. And then it's just, like, been overblown. And I'm like, and then people are, like, saying the Lightning got a Mickey Mouse ring. And I'm like, they won that in Canada, people. Like, what are you talking about? So, anyways,
I think they're going to win in 6 over the White Sox. This Dodger team just got better. The bullpen's still good. The starting pitching staff got better by adding, Trevor Bauer. He's kind of like last year's Cy Young. And the crazy part about that rotation is that a former Cy Young and David Price might not even be starting. Do you know how insane that is?
I mean, he won the Cy Young, 6 years ago?
But still, you get my point. Because Gonsolin's going to be in there. Then you've got the 3-headed monster. I think Urias is going to be in the bullpen, but let's not talk about that. My World Series champion is the Dodgers. They're winning their 2 in a row, and everyone can shut up about their Mickey Mouse ring.
Yeah, David Price won the Cy Young Award 9 years ago.
Yeah.
He was second. He was second 6 years ago.
But you still get my point.
Sure.
So, Dodgers get a non-Mickey Mouse ring and win back-to-back.
All right,
You
Cole.
see, I said this about the Chiefs, and we know what happened.
Yeah,
So,
I
if that
hope
makes
you're
you feel
wrong.
better, Dom.
Right. All right, Cole. You have White Sox versus Braves. Let's hear it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. This is going to be a pretty crazy series if it happens. I mean, two very formidable offenses, two very comparable. I'd say the White Sox have a little bit of a better rotation. Yeah, this would be a legit series if we get it, and I think it'd be very entertaining. A lot of young talent going at it. I didn't really have time to. Well, I did have a lot of time to think about this, and I didn't, so that's on me. Oh, that's tough. I'm gonna go with the Braves. I like the Braves a lot. I really do. I think this is a really legit team, and now they have that experience. A lot of these guys got that playoff experience. Granted, it wasn't in front of a whole lot of people. Obviously, that series in Texas was with a little bit of a staggered crowd. But I still think that as far as a playoff atmosphere is concerned, they've sort of been in the thick of it, and they now have that under their belt. The loss, that terrible series that they blew against the Dodgers last year, that's behind them. I think this team is really going to have a chip on their shoulder, and I think they're really going to carry that all the way to the end. I seriously see them as not only favorites but as winners. So I got the Braves.
All right, and then you talked about how you'd have a legit series. My series is legit as well. Padres versus Yankees. Rematch in the 1998 World Series in which the Padres were swept. The Padres reversed the favor. San Diego Padres World Series champs. Did you expect it any other way on this show? Should have been no. I mean, obviously, you can call me biased. I'm picking my team in the World Series, but at the same time, a lot of people think this team is the second best team in baseball. A lineup that was super lethal last year is returning just about everyone, and Will Myers looks way better than he did last year. Fernando Tatis Jr. killed it in spring. Manny Machado was third place at MVP last year. Jake Cronenworth was second to Rookie of the Year. Lineups looked, and the pitching staff got significantly better. Dinelson Lamet's going to be returning in mid-April, I think. And then you got Chris Paddock. He looked a lot better this spring. Had a bad last start, but he's looked really good all spring. Dinelson Lamet, like I talked about. Joe Musgrove's looked really good so far in spring. Yu Darvish has looked really good. And then you also want to talk about Blake Snell, who's been absolutely phenomenal in spring training. The Padres are just loaded, and I think that the Padres can bring a ring to San Diego, do what no other sports team in San Diego has done, win a championship. And I think that the Padres have just as good of a shot as anyone else. So I'll take my team. I don't care. Let's do it. I'm ready to be heartbroken. I know I'm not, but
that was beautiful. I think I teared up a little.
Hey, Dom.
Yeah, thank you.
Dom, just
Yes.
be ready to be disappointed.
I said I'm ready to be heartbroken. I mean, when
It's okay.
when you have
It's okay.
when you have a team like this,
You know what I'll
might as
do?
well.
You know what I'll do to make you feel better? I'll give you some sarcastic comments.
Yeah, no, you'll.
I'll bring the comedic relief with Pat.
Yeah, no, you're texting me about Eric Hosmer when he grounded out last year to end Game 2.
You know what? You know what? I'm just going to do that because I still think he made the wrong decision.
He made the wrong decision? Well, he's playing for a World Series contender, and the Royals are a third or fourth place team. Third or fourth.
Hold on. But he already has a ring.
Yes, and he's trying to.
He could have kept it going. I'm just salty. I still love Haas.
Right.
But he's not the same as he was in Kansas City.
No. You're right. He was better last year than he was in Kansas City. You're right.
I swear. Has anyone ever told you you have a punchable face?
Yes.
Me.
I mean, yeah, you, but a lot of my other friends too. All right, so we all have 3 different World Series winners. I got the Padres. Cole's got the Braves. Yes, and then Ryan has, of course, the Dodgers. So we all got the NL, and I mean, those are the 3 favorites out of the NL. White Sox, Yankees out of the AL, and then there's also the Mets out of the NL. Really think those are the only 6 teams that can really hoist the trophy, unless the Angels go off, but no. All right, that's wrap up this episode of Golden Sombrero. This was a fun episode. Hour and a half long edition here on YouTube. Full predictions. Feel free to link this, the roast us for our predictions when they absolutely fail at some point this year. On behalf of Cole Bradley and Ryan Blank, this is Dominic Stern, and we thank you for tuning into the Golden Sombrero Show.